the diplomat who wouldn't bow. The conference chamber aboard the Celestial Accord hung in perfect silence. Ambassador Marcus Chen stood alone at the human delegation table, his hands flat against the polished surface. Around him, representatives from 47 different species watched with expressions ranging from curiosity to barely concealed disgust. The Vraxian ambassador, a towering creature of chitinous plates and compound eyes, leaned forward with obvious anticipation. Marcus had prepared for this moment for 6 months. He had studied every treaty, every protocol, every historical precedent for peace negotiations between expanding civilizations. He had memorized the proper greetings in 17 languages. He had even learned to suppress his natural breathing rhythm so the sound wouldn't offend the Kelthran delegates whose species communicated partially through atmospheric pressure changes. None of that preparation had included what to do when the entire Galactic Council demanded humanity's unconditional surrender. The Vraxian spoke first, his translator converting his clicking mandibles into flat, emotionless words. Humanity will cease all expansion beyond your home system. You will dismantle your military fleet. You will submit to galactic oversight of your technological development. These terms are non-negotiable. The alternative is extinction. Marcus felt his heartbeat accelerate. Behind him, through the reinforced windows, Earth hummed like a blue marble in the darkness. 4 billion humans lived on that world. Another 3 billion were scattered across Mars, Europa, and the orbital stations. Every one of them was counting on him to bring home peace. The Kelthran representative, a creature that looked like living water held together by force fields, rippled with what Marcus had learned to recognize as amusement. Your species has existed in space for barely 2 centuries. The Galactic Council has maintained order for 40,000 years. You are children playing with dangerous toys. We are offering you protection from yourselves. Commander Sarah Mitchell sat in the observation deck 3 levels above, watching through one-way glass. Her military uniform felt too tight, too formal for what she knew was about to happen. She had commanded the defense of Luna Station during the first Vraxian incursion. She had seen what their weapons could do. The burns on her left arm, hidden beneath her sleeve, still ached when atmospheric pressure changed. General Rodriguez sat beside her, his face carved from stone. How long until he walks out? The general asked quietly. Sarah checked her chronometer. He'll give them 5 more minutes. That's what we agreed. He'll try one more appeal to their sense of fairness. Rodriguez grunted. Fairness. They outnumber us 10,000 to 1. They've been traveling between stars since before we invented the wheel. What's fair got to do with it? Sarah watched Marcus carefully. The ambassador's posture hadn't changed, but she knew him well enough to read the tension in his shoulders. Everything, she said. That's why we sent him instead of you or me. Because someone has to believe peace is possible. Marcus raised his head and met the Vraxian ambassador's compound eyes. With respect, he said, his voice steady, humanity cannot accept these terms. We are willing to negotiate borders, resource sharing, and cultural exchange. We are willing to prove ourselves as responsible members of the galactic community. But we will not surrender our right to exist as a free species. The chamber erupted in noise. The Vraxian slammed his primary limbs against his table. The Kelthran delegates surged like angry water. A representative from the Moth Collective, creatures of pure thought inhabiting mechanical bodies, emitted a high-pitched signal that made the translation unit screech with interference. Only the Zentari observer remained silent, his reptilian features unreadable. The Vraxian ambassador's translator struggled to keep up with his rapid clicking. You dare refuse? Your species possesses exactly 47 functional warships. The Vraxian Empire alone commands 12,000. The Kelthran Federation operates 30,000 more. You cannot win this fight. Marcus felt a strange calm settle over him. Later, he would wonder if this was how soldiers felt before a charge they knew they wouldn't survive. You're right, he said. We can't win a conventional war against you. Our technology is centuries behind yours. Our numbers are insignificant compared to the Galactic Council. Any military conflict between humanity and the Council would end in human extinction. The room fell silent. Even the Kelthrans stopped rippling. The Vraxian leaned back, clicking with satisfaction. Then you accept our terms. Marcus smiled. It wasn't a happy expression. No. I'm explaining why you should be terrified of us anyway. The Moth Collective representative's mechanical body tilted with interest. Sarah cursed softly in the observation deck. He's going off script. Rodriguez's hand moved to his communication device. Should I abort? Sarah shook her head slowly. No. Let's see where he goes with this. Marcus began walking around the human table, his movements casual, conversational. Humanity has been at war for our entire recorded history. We've fought over land, resources, religion, ideology, and sometimes just because we were bored. We've invented thousands of ways to kill each other. We've created weapons that could sterilize our entire planet and came frighteningly close to using them. The Kelthran representative rippled uncertainly. This is meant to convince us not to destroy you. Marcus stopped walking. It's meant to make you understand what you're dealing with. Every species in this room evolved on a world where they were the dominant predator or the cleverest prey. You reached the top of your food chains and then, eventually, reached for the stars. Humanity did that too. But we did it while fighting each other every step of the way. The Zentari observer spoke for the first time, his voice a low rumble. An interesting distinction. What relevance does it have? Marcus turned to face him. It means we're really, really good at fighting. Not because we're stronger or faster or more advanced. But because we've had more practice than anyone else in this room. We've spent 10,000 years perfecting the art of war against opponents who think exactly like us, who know all our tricks, who adapt as fast as we do. The Vraxian clicked dismissively. Primitive violence is irrelevant against superior technology. Marcus's smile widened. Is it? Let me tell you about Earth's 20th century. We went from the first powered flight to landing on our moon in 66 years. We went from the first nuclear reaction to weapons that could destroy cities in 3 years. We went from basic computers to artificial intelligence in 50 years. Do you know what drove most of that innovation? The Moth Collective answered, their translated voice curious. War. Marcus nodded. War. Competition. The absolute certainty that if we didn't innovate faster than our enemies, we would die. You're offering us the same motivation now, but on a species-wide scale. General Rodriguez sat forward in the observation deck. He's actually doing it. He's turning a peace negotiation into a threat. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. It's not a threat if it's just the truth. Marcus continued, his voice never rising, never showing anger. If you force humanity into a war for survival, we will fight differently than you expect. We won't meet your fleets in open battle. We won't defend territory we can't hold. We'll do what we've always done when facing superior opponents. We'll adapt. We'll innovate. We'll cheat. The Vraxian stood, his full height nearly 3 meters. You would be destroyed long before your innovations mattered. Marcus met his gaze calmly. Probably. But how many of you would we take with us? How many Vraxian colonies would we hit with weapons you've never seen before, designed by people who have nothing left to lose? How many Kelthran stations would we compromise? How much would your carefully maintained galactic order cost to restore after humanity spent its last breath trying to drag you down with us? The Kelthran representative's waterform shuddered. You would truly choose extinction over peaceful submission? Marcus's expression hardened. Look at our history. We've chosen freedom over survival so many times it's practically our species' motto. Do you think people who fought revolutions against overwhelming odds, who died by the millions rather than accept tyranny, who literally chose to split atoms and risk destroying their own planet rather than surrender to their enemies, would suddenly become reasonable now? The Centauri observer made a sound that might have been laughter. The human makes a compelling argument. Perhaps not the one he intended, but compelling nonetheless. We sought to protect the galaxy from a potentially dangerous species. He argues that attempting to control them will make them infinitely more dangerous. Marcus turned to the Centauri. I'm arguing that you don't need to control us at all. Give us room to grow. Trade with us. Share knowledge. Let us prove we can be good neighbors. But if you try to cage us, if you try to force us to submit, you'll discover that humans fight hardest when we have no other choice. The chamber fell into heavy silence. Representatives whispered among themselves in languages the translator couldn't handle fast enough. The Vraxian ambassador remained standing, his body language radiating hostility. The Keltheran rippled uncertainly, consulting with their collective consciousness. Finally, the Moth Collective spoke. This is unprecedented. No species has ever threatened the Galactic Council during peace negotiations. Marcus shook his head. I'm not threatening you. I'm explaining reality. Humanity wants peace. We want to join the galactic community. But we'll only do it as equals, not as subjects. If that's unacceptable to you, then we both need to prepare for the alternative and understand what that alternative will cost. The Vraxian clicked rapidly. You are bluffing. Your fleet couldn't defend your home system for more than a few days. Marcus's calm never wavered. You're probably right. But in those few days, I guarantee humanity will do something you've never seen before. Something that will make you question whether destroying us was worth it. And every human who survives will spend the rest of their lives making you regret not taking the peace I'm offering today. Sarah watched as the various alien representatives began arguing among themselves. Some voices called for immediate military action. Others urged caution. The Centauri observer simply watched Marcus with what might have been respect. General Rodriguez stood. We need to extract him. This is about to turn into a disaster. Sarah remained seated. Wait. Something's changing. The Vraxian ambassador suddenly turned away from his delegation and faced Marcus again. His translator rendered his words slowly, carefully. The Vraxian Empire will accept a recess to consider these discussions. We will reconvene in 6 standard hours. Marcus nodded once. The human delegation thanks the Council for their consideration. As the various representatives filed out, each returning to their ships and private chambers, Sarah finally released the breath she'd been holding. He bought us 6 hours. Rodriguez looked grim. 6 hours to figure out if we just negotiated a peace or started a war. Marcus remained in the chamber after the others left, staring out at Earth. Commander Mitchell entered through the main door, her footsteps echoing in the empty space. That was either the bravest or the stupidest thing I've ever seen, she said. Marcus turned to face her. His calm facade had cracked, revealing the exhaustion beneath. I told them the truth. That's all I had. Sarah walked to stand beside him. Do you think it worked? Marcus looked back at Earth, at the billions of lives hanging in the balance. I think we're about to find out if the galaxy is ready for humanity. Or if humanity is ready for the galaxy. The price of truth. Commander Sarah Mitchell had seen war before, but she had never seen peace feel so much like the moment before an execution. She stood in the command center of the Celestial Accord, watching sensor data stream across holographic displays. 6 hours had passed since Marcus Chen's confrontation with the Galactic Council. 6 hours of silence from 47 different alien delegations. 6 hours of human ships quietly moving into defensive positions they all knew were ultimately useless. General Rodriguez paced behind her like a caged animal. His career had been built on certainty, on clear tactical decisions with measurable outcomes. This diplomatic limbo was eating him alive. What are they waiting for? He demanded. They could have vaporized us the moment Chen left that room. Sarah kept her eyes on the sensors. They're talking. Arguing, more likely. Marcus didn't just threaten them. He made them uncertain. Rodriguez snorted. Uncertain doesn't stop a fleet of 12,000 warships. No, Sarah agreed. But it might make them think twice about what comes after they win. Deep in the lower levels of the Celestial Accord, Marcus Chen sat alone in his quarters. The walls displayed a live feed from Earth, showing sunrise over the Pacific Ocean. He had grown up in San Francisco, watching that same ocean every morning before school. His hands shook as he poured himself water. The calm he had maintained in the council chamber had been a performance, a necessary mask. Now, alone, the weight of what he had done pressed down like gravity from a collapsing star. He had essentially threatened the most powerful military alliance in the galaxy with humanity's capacity for spite and innovation. It was either the most brilliant diplomatic gambit in human history or the most catastrophic bluff ever attempted. A chime at his door interrupted his thoughts. "Come in," he called. The door slid open to reveal an unexpected visitor. The Zentari observer from the council meeting stood in the corridor, his reptilian form barely fitting through the human-sized doorway. He wore no environmental suit, suggesting his species could tolerate Earth-normal atmosphere. His scales were deep green with patterns of gold that seemed to shift in the light. "Ambassador Chen," the Zentari said, his voice a deep rumble that bypassed the translator entirely. "I hope I am not intruding." Marcus stood, his diplomatic training overriding his exhaustion. "Observer Krothek. This is unexpected. What brings you to the human quarters?" The Zentari moved into the room with surprising grace for his size. "I wish to speak with you privately before the council reconvenes. What you did in that chamber was either profoundly wise or profoundly foolish. I have not yet determined which." Marcus gestured to a reinforced chair designed for heavier species. "Please, sit. Can I offer you anything?" Krothek settled into the chair, his tail curling around its base. "Information, perhaps. Tell me, Ambassador, did you mean what you said? About humanity choosing extinction over submission?" Marcus sat across from him. "Every word." The Zentari's eyes, which Marcus now realized were far more complex than they appeared, studied him intently. "Why? Your species could survive under Galactic Council oversight. You would be restricted, yes, but alive. You would have access to advanced technology, protection from external threats, a place in the galactic community. Why choose potential annihilation over certain survival?" Marcus thought carefully about his answer. "Because survival isn't the same as living. My species has a saying, give me liberty or give me death. We've repeated it for centuries in different languages, different contexts. It's not just rhetoric. It's a fundamental truth about who we are." Krothek leaned back, the chair creaking under his weight. "The Vraxians believe you are bluffing. They think humans are too rational to choose suicide over surrender. Are they correct?" Marcus met his gaze. "Look at human history. We fought wars that killed millions over ideas, over the right to govern ourselves. We developed weapons that could destroy our entire species and aimed them at each other rather than submit. We've had countless opportunities to choose safe slavery over dangerous freedom. We always chose freedom." The Zentari was silent for a long moment. "The Zentari Empire is old, Ambassador. Very old. We have watched species rise and fall for cycles you cannot comprehend. Do you know what we have learned? That survival is the only goal that matters in the end." Marcus shook his head. "With respect, observer, your species survived. But what have you achieved? You observe, you watch, you collect data. But you don't grow. You don't change. You've chosen a different kind of death, one that just takes longer." Krothek's scales rippled with what might have been surprise. "You judge us? A species that has endured for 1,000,000 years? Marcus stood and walked to the window showing Earth. I'm not judging. I'm explaining. Humanity might only last another few centuries. We might destroy ourselves next week if the Council decides to attack. But in the time we have, we'll have lived. We'll have tried. We'll have pushed boundaries and made mistakes and created things no one has seen before. That's worth more to us than surviving forever as someone else's pet species. The Centauri rose, his massive form towering over Marcus. The Vraxians will not be swayed by philosophy. They see only strength and weakness. They will test you. Marcus turned to face him. Then we'll pass or fail the test. Either way, we'll do it on our own terms. Krothek moved toward the door, then paused. There is something you should know, Ambassador. The Galactic Council is not as unified as it appears. Many species joined out of fear of the Vraxians, not respect for the Council's ideals. Your words in that chamber resonated with more delegates than you realize. Marcus felt a flicker of hope. Are you saying we have allies? The Centauri's scales shifted to a darker shade. I am saying you have inspired questions. Whether those questions become support or whether they fade into the usual compliance remains to be seen. But you have made the galaxy uncertain, and uncertainty can be more powerful than any weapon. With that cryptic message, Krothek left, leaving Marcus alone with his thoughts. In the command center, Sarah's sensors suddenly lit up with new contacts. General Rodriguez, we have movement. Vraxian fleet is breaking formation. Rodriguez moved to her station instantly. Attack pattern? Sarah studied the data, her military training analyzing the vectors and speeds. No. They're repositioning, but not into an assault configuration. It's almost like they're creating space for something. The something became clear moments later when a massive energy signature appeared on their sensors. A ship was entering the system, but unlike anything in their database. It was enormous, easily 3 times the size of the largest Vraxian battleship, and its energy output suggested technology far beyond anything the Council possessed. Rodriguez hit the emergency channel. All human ships, battle stations. Unknown contact entering the system. Sarah's hands moved across her console, trying to get better readings. General, that ship's not Vraxian. It's not Keltheran. It's not any species in our database. Then what the hell is it? Rodriguez demanded. The answer came through an unexpected channel. Marcus Chen's personal communicator chimed with a priority message from Krothek. Ambassador, you should return to the Council chamber immediately. The real power behind the Galactic Council has arrived. Marcus's blood ran cold. What do you mean, the real power? The Centauri's response was brief. The council you negotiated with is merely an administrative body. The true authority, the species that founded the council 40,000 years ago, rarely involves itself in meetings with new species. You have irritated them enough that they are making an exception. Marcus ran for the chamber, his mind racing. Everything he had researched, every historical document, every treaty and protocol had mentioned the council as the ultimate authority. The idea that there was something above them, something powerful enough to command the Vraxians and Keltheran, changed everything. He burst into the council chamber to find it already filled. Every delegation had returned, but now they stood rather than sat. Their body language, across 47 different species, showed the same thing, fear. At the far end of the chamber, a new figure waited. It was humanoid in shape but clearly not human. Its skin seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, creating an unsettling void in Marcus's vision. When it moved, reality seemed to lag slightly, as if the universe itself had to catch up with its existence. Its eyes, if they could be called eyes, were points of brilliant white light that seemed to see through matter and time simultaneously. "Welcome, Ambassador Chen," the being said. Its voice came from everywhere and nowhere, bypassing translation entirely and speaking directly into Marcus's mind. "I am Executor Ven of the Architects. We built the Galactic Council 40,000 years ago to maintain order among younger species. We rarely intervene directly. You should consider it an honor. Marcus felt his diplomatic training struggling to provide guidance for this scenario. With respect, Executor, I didn't seek this intervention. Your performance in the council chamber was impressive, Ven continued, moving closer. You threatened species that could destroy yours without effort. You gambled everything on the hope that your words would matter more than your weapons. Bold. Foolish. But bold. Marcus straightened his spine. I spoke truth. That's not gambling. Ven's void-like face shifted in what might have been a smile. Truth is the most dangerous gamble of all, Ambassador. Lies can be controlled, shaped, managed. Truth has a way of spreading and changing things in unpredictable ways. Is that why you're here? Marcus asked. To control the truth I spoke. The executor stopped directly in front of him. I am here to give you a choice. The Galactic Council was prepared to force humanity into submission or destroy you for refusing. You complicated that simple plan with your threats and your logic. Now they are uncertain. That uncertainty is unacceptable. Marcus felt every eye in the chamber on him. So what's the choice? Ven's white eyes seemed to pulse. Option 1, humanity submits to council oversight. You will be restricted but protected. Your species will survive, though you will never become what you might have been. Option 2, humanity is given probationary status. You will have freedom to expand and develop, but you will be watched. If you prove as dangerous as you claim to be capable of being, we will eliminate you instantly and completely. No warnings, no second chances. Marcus's mouth went dry. And if we refuse both options? Then there is no option 3, Ven said simply. You will cease to exist. Not just your ships or your colonies. We will reach back through time and ensure humanity never evolved at all. We have that capability. Marcus felt the weight of every human life, past, present, and future, pressing down on his shoulders. You're asking me to choose between slavery and a test we might fail. Ven tilted its head. I am asking you to choose between certain survival and possible greatness. The choice humanity has always claimed to value. Marcus thought of his conversation with Krothek, of humanity's history of choosing danger over safety. He thought of Sarah and Rodriguez and the billions on Earth waiting for his decision. How long do we have to prove ourselves? Ven's answer came without hesitation. 100 years, standard galactic time. You will be evaluated on your technological development, your treatment of other species, your ability to maintain peace within your own population, and your contribution to galactic civilization. At the end of that period, the architects will judge whether humanity deserves to continue existing. Marcus felt his heart hammering. And if we pass? Then you will become full members of the Galactic Council with all rights and privileges. You will be recognized as equals to species that have existed for millions of years. You will have earned your place among the stars. The chamber remained silent. Even the Vraxian ambassador had stopped clicking. Everyone understood they were witnessing a moment that would define not just humanity's future but potentially the galaxy's as well. Ambassador Chen, Ven pressed, I require your answer. Will humanity submit to controlled existence, or will you accept the challenge of earning your freedom? Marcus Chen, diplomat, negotiator, representative of 4 billion souls on Earth and 3 billion more scattered through the solar system, made the only choice a human could make. We accept the challenge.